Well, good morning from a cool and humid Stuttgart. Are we live? Are we on the air? Hello, Internet. We have about 15,000 people today with us to watch a workshop on Cinema 4D and Substance Designer. My name is Thanassis, Athanasios, the immortal in ancient Greek. Pozantzis, and my internet handle is Noseman. So if you Google Noseman, I'll come up first. That, I think, is the single best accomplishment in my life. Yeah, I come up on Google first. So, yeah, thanks for being here. And I'm going to show you last year's reel, because I don't do this anymore. I have a great talent on breaking things. And there was no real work for me to do. Karate chops and all that was not an option. It hurts too much. And then Maxon said, well, we make a product which is very stable, and we need people to break it so we can make it even better. And that's what I'm doing now. I'm just breaking things. And the more I break, the more they like me. So it kind of brings balance to my life. Anyway, so this is my show reel. Good. And that's it. So let's begin. Let's begin. All right, let's pull the floor. Who uses Cinema 4D? Let me see hands. Good. So we've sold. You can go and watch something else. Yeah, so who doesn't use Cinema 4D then? Excellent. We're going to try and convince you in some sort of way today. I'm doing this because there's light in my eyes, and I want to look people in the eye. Who knows about Substance Designer, and who uses Substance Designer? Okay. Who uses Substance Designer that is not a Maxon beta tester? See? Okay, so we have some interest here. So let's begin with what Substance Designer is. Substance Designer is a product made by a company called Algorithmic. Normally this should zoom in here, but it doesn't always work, so who cares? So Algorithmic. And what these guys have done is quite incredible. They've created a nodal texturing workflow, an application, which is aimed at game engines. And what they actually do, once you create your substance inside the program, mind you, all my presentations are live, so things can go bad, fires, explosions, no VFX, practical effects. If you see smoke, it's not a simulation, all right, mind you. So what you see here, and I'm going to adjust the size a bit, and sit here to the side a bit. Click the button. There you go. So this is Substance Designer, and it has a certain nodal workflow. Now, what is good about nodal workflows in a nutshell is that you can reuse things, you can rewire things. And look at this layout. I have that one little tile up there, which provides information to that thing over there, and then provides information to that one, which splits in two and goes all the way down. Whenever we talk about nodal workflows, there's one thing in particular, and that is that anything we change at the beginning of a chain will change for the whole chain, which makes it very easy to apply changes. And that is why these kind of workflows have an advantage over standard ones. Now, there are some disadvantages, but we're not here to discuss them. And avoidance is a very good technique. Transfer of responsibility is a very good technique when you're discussing. So if anything goes wrong, it's someone else's fault, not mine. So Substance, I'm going to give you a very, very quick overview of what a substance is and how it's created. So a substance provides us with outputs. Each output is a bitmap image, nothing else, just a bitmap image. It's created through the workflow you see. And we can see some extremely complicated setups. Let me find something like, there's something called the amethyst. Now, I'm a bit long-sighted. All my hands are very short, so you'll see that I'm trying to see and work at the same time. So somewhere, sample substances, there is, sorry for that, I'm having a difficult time. And I don't like to wear glasses. SBS, let's open wood floors. I think, so about this, it is my, all right, substance. SBA sources, there we go. And let's find the amethyst. Did you see amethyst here? Yes. Now look at this. This is an example of a graph which is relatively large. And although it seems intimidating, the concept is quite simple. It just allows the data from one node that begins over there to spread out different data processing happening across the way, and everything ends up as outputs over here. Okay, so these are the outputs. And just to give you a very, very quick overview of what a substance is, I'm actually going to create one. So I'm going to create an empty substance, that's it. On the left is the equivalent of Cinema 4D's object manager. On the right is the equivalent of Cinema 4D's attributes manager. In here is what we will have in Cinema as our Espresso window. Here we have a 3D preview of what we're doing. Here it's caching the previous one we opened. Here we have a 2D view of each node we select. And here we have a library, the equivalent of Cinema 4D's content manager, content browser, sorry. So what you do to begin with, you press spacebar and you add outputs. Now, why would you add outputs? Because these are going to be your images, your textures you're going to use. This is what we put as an output is what we are going to use in a bit in Cinema 4D. Now, how the mapping is created, what it is defined by us. So this is called output. I can call it Thanassis, which is a testament to my vanity. I name everything Thanassis. And you go down here where it says usage, and we say, for example, I want this to be a diffuse output. Now, calling something a diffuse or calling something emissive or calling something anything doesn't actually make any difference, because it's just going to provide us with the same image, but with a different tag, a different name. It helps when you're connecting to Cinema 4D, because there's an automatic mapping that connects. Anything that's a diffuse, it becomes a color channel in Cinema 4D. Anything that's emissive, it becomes illuminance. Anything that was reflection, reflectance, environment, bump, pass, blah, 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 and all that. You'll see this in the documentation when you get the whole thing. And I've created a diffuse. Let me continue very quickly. I'm going to press this. I'm going to create another output. So I'm going to call this normal. So I'm going to add a normal. Somewhere down here is a normal. I'm going to leave these two as they are. And now we can select either certain predefined things. I can go here and select, for example, a noise. Noises, just like Cinema 4D, are just simple noises. So I can just drag a noise up here. And I'm going to do the simplest of all situations. I'm going to get this noise and call it diffuse color. If I double-click here, you will see the noise. And I'm going to add some kind of calculation. I'm going to say, let's blur this. This is a blur node. What it does, it takes whatever you put in here, it blurs it, and it outputs it over here. Now, because this is a normal, and a normal output needs to be in the normal space, I'm just going to press spacebar and add a normal, and just make sure that I connect the normal here, and it's going to do the conversion for us. I'm going to turn this off, and basically this is our normal map, which gets information from this little bugger here. And that's just about it. And then we have parameters. For example, I can change the blur intensity, and so forth, which means that if I change this, then everything else will change as well. So you will see that the noise changes based on the parameters of this. And where's the key now to this parametric ability that substances have? We can promote, we can expose, as we say in Substance, any parameter we want. So I'm going to go here and say, okay, disorder, I like that parameter, it changes the random seed. I'm going to click here and say expose this. And it asks for a name. I'm going to just click OK. It disappears from here because it's upper level now. It's in our unsaved, it's in our graph here. There it is. If you click on the graph, I haven't named anything. Bad thing to do, but who cares? It's only a presentation which 20,000 people are watching. So what's the worst that can happen? And you can see that parameter, just like the Cinema 4D user data we can add, here we can parameterize, we can change the interface, the sliders, and all that kind of stuff. So by using this technique, we can actually take any parameter we used in the creation of our substance and put it on a high level. And only that parameter is going to be visible in Cinema 4D. So you can take away the complexity of a graph like this. I need to double-click on the right place. Yeah, sorry for that. So imagine if all the parameters from all these were promoted. You will have 100 different parameters. But no, you just select the parameters you want. And here you can see the user that made this specific substance. Hello, you're late. They've actually promoted this number of parameters here. Okay? Now, before I move on to exporting the previous one, let's go and see how this substance looks. Now, take a look at these, try and memorize them, right? You have 3 seconds to do so. Good. So let's go here. I've got this car I got from someone else's work. I love it. You know, you just grab something, you credit them, and you can do whatever you want. So the way it works in Cinema 4D is the following. In the plugins, there's a substance subfolder. And we can either load an asset, or we can open a substance asset manager, a nice little manager here. I've already preloaded some asset. Assets are their substance files. So let's go to Amethyst. So somewhere here, if I type Amethyst, name Amethyst, not SBS, the ones you need to open are SBSAR. So I'm going to go all the way down here and find the Amethyst SBSAR. It's like an image, so when we bring it in, Cinema 4D treats it as if it's an image file, because essentially it is an image file. Okay, so I want it to be absolute. And what happens here is that in our attributes manager, we see the outputs, the 6 outputs. 6 outputs, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 outputs. Okay, and we can see the same previews. Whatever we see here, if we double click, we see the same things here. So we have all the outputs, great, and we have all the parameters. And that is done automatically by the plugin. So let me say a bit of an insignificant detail. The plugin is free. And as of right now, just go to the Algorithmic website and download it. And they've got some free SBSAR files. You can test it. It's ready now. It's free. You don't have to pay a penny. If you want to create your own substances, go and buy Substance Designer. But they're not paying me to be here. It's Maxon. So don't buy it and just use the free ones. No, it's a fantastic program. So go now if you have your laptops or anything. No one has a laptop. I like that. And just go and download it. It's available right now. It's being developed together by Algorithmic and Maxon. So it's a joint venture, which means that Algorithmic bring their wisdom of Substance Designer, and Maxon have Cinema 4D better than anyone else for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe because they make the software. And yeah, so here we see all the parameters. And let's take a look at this. When I move this, I can see the outputs changing. Excellent. So what do I do with this? That's a good question. So what do I do with this? Well, there are a few things you can do. Number one, you can right-click on this and say Create Material. And lo and behold, you have a material which has the substances connected. And of course, your next question will be, and how does this connection occur? Well, it's very simple. It's a shader. So if we go here, and you will see we have a substance shader. If I click on the substance shader, it's as simple as connecting the substance to this field, and then you have all the available channels, the outputs. And you just select the one you want. Now, by default, as I showed you before, there's an automatic mapping that happens, and that is just predefined. It doesn't force you from using any, it doesn't stop you, sorry, from using any output in any channel you want, in any way. There is no, each output is a separate image that's calculated on the fly. So let's just do this and see what happens. I'm going to put the Amethyst shader here, and I need to take care of a couple of things. If I want to change the parameters of the substance, I can either open the link here and I can see everything in front of me. Quite simple. Or you click here and you go to the Attributes Manager and you can see everything. So what we can do in this case, number one, because Substance Designer, substances were created originally for game engines, but now they've found great use in the DCC applications, they always have default at a very low resolution. But we can go and increase it to 2048, for example. So if I render this thing here, you will see that the render is really nice and crisp and fabulous. But it's a bit, it doesn't look good in preview. But as you all know, you go to Editor and you go to your resolution and you can change that. And within a few seconds, you can actually see a real-time preview and render and OpenGL is pretty much the same now. And everything is live. So if I do some changes, let's say, I don't know, impurities, I can't see them, you just change your color, and within a fraction of a second, the color changes. Now, that fraction of a second, mind you, what happens is the following. The data from here is fed through the plugin to the graphics card, because Substance uses the graphics card, OpenGL. It's not GPU accelerated rendering or all that, no. It uses OpenGL, or I think it uses on PC DirectX and all that, but I don't know, I use Max. So, and then the calculation happens, and we get the output back. It's the equivalent of opening your image in Photoshop, doing something, saving it, bringing it back, and refreshing. That's what happens behind the scenes. That's why it takes a second or so. So, this is the basic concept of how substances work inside Cinema 4D. Let's see some advantages of substances, because there are a couple of things which we couldn't do up to now, but now we can. An input to a substance can be an image. And that image can be fed as a parameter inside Cinema 4D. Let me show you. I've got this scene here, which I have this chair. And this is a substance that took me a few minutes to make. I'm going to go to my plugins, Substance, Asset Manager. And I think it's called Wood Floors. There you go. I'm going to click on it. And basically, it has the resolution, a random seed, and it has a blur intensity and a normal map intensity, and an input. So let's render this. This is pretty straightforward. I'm just using physical and some depth of field. And why am I using depth of field? Oh, yeah, because I used this image for something I wanted. So I'm just going to make it ever so slightly faster. So you'll see here that it's a backlit image. It's a chair from the content browser. And you can see the wood has all the grooves and lines. And let's go to my wood floor. And I think, where's my wood floor here? Is it this one? I think it's this one. Yes, it is. Yep. So basically, what we've done here, and this was set up not semi-automatically, I have my diffuse here, I have my specular here, I have my normal, I have a bump, I have a display. No, this is not the one. See, I did a mistake. It's somewhere here. Damn it, I can't read. Wood floor, there it is. Sorry about that. Okay, there we are. This is my simple substance. I've just added an ambient occlusion. I have a reflectance and I have a normal map. Because of my substance, the way I did it, everything relies on one input. If I go to my substance, and in my input, I change the type of wood. So this is 020, I'm going to put 024. By just linking a different type of wood, as you can see, all the outputs have been changed as well. So now, by changing only the input image, I've actually created a totally new piece of wood just by using a couple of clicks. And you'll be surprised how simple this specific substance is. I think it's like 6 or 7 nodes altogether. And imagine what you can do with even more. There it is. This what you see here is my actual substance. This is the graph. And instead of that image, I've just used a color input image. And I connected that, because when you use a color input image, instead of using a specific image, it uses anything you put as an input. Question, please.
Does Substance Designer need to run in the background?
No. It's self-contained. So all you have to do to make it run on your installation is download the plugin, put it in the plugins folder, and restart Cinema 4D. That's it. That's all it does. The huge advantage that substances have is that they're extremely small. They can be 12K, 30K, as long as you haven't embedded any images. Because you can do all sorts of stuff. You can embed 3D objects. You can embed all sorts of things. Now, let's check a few things out. So we can use an input image. Substance has certain nodes which allow you to do effects based on the actual model. So what does that mean? If you want to create wear and tear, let's go here, and I think I have a simple car. So look at this. This here is a substance it creates a different level of wear. But you'll say, but how does it know where the car has corners? Well, it's simple. What I've done in this case is I used the car model and I baked normals. I kept my UVs, I baked the normals. When you bake your normals, the world normals that the object baking does are so-called world normals, which show the direction each polygon of your object is facing in world coordinates. So basically what you're telling someone or an input that takes normals is for every polygon, where is it pointing? So the program knows if two polygons are adjacent, how much the angle between them is. And that information is used by Substance through a very simple node. And I think that, let me just do this and go here. I think you can use something like where. There you go. They're ready. These are ready-made nodes inside Substance Designer. So edgeware. You drop this in. And if you go here, it says it needs two inputs, a curvature map and a mask, which is optional. So a curvature map. OK, curvature. What do we do? Curvature. And you say, OK, curvature. Let's drop it in. I'm going to put the curvature here. What does this need? Oh, it needs a normal map. So you just feed the normals you exported from Cinema 4D into this. This will do its own calculation. Let me go and find, I think I have a nice little, let me import bitmap. And I think somewhere around here in the images, where do I have my car? Let me find normal. No, yeah. If I can type, I can do many things I cannot type. There you go. So let me see, is this the one? Yeah, there you go. This is what a world normal map looks like, okay? Each color defines a direction or space. So I'm going to open this. And in the resources, how Substance works exactly, just, about 1 million tutorials. So when you feed this in here, this is what comes out. So it takes the normal data. The normal data becomes a curvature map where whatever is white has a sharper angle and whatever is gray doesn't. And that information with some magic, I think algorithmic uses wizardry in magic, okay? Don't take my word for it, but something happens there interesting. And this is what it gives you. This is what it gives you. And all you have to do is, 1 second, apply this to your normal UV maps, the ones you use to create the normal map. Please. That's what I did. This is it. So in the grunge, this is the input. There it is. So here I've put this exact normal map I showed you here is the one I fed inside here. OK? So you can see that how much more flexibility this new workflow can give you at pretty much no cost. Sorry, algorithmic, but that's a fact. So, in my view, it's groundbreaking, and I'll tell you why, for a few reasons. Number one, because it was made mostly for game development, and I think as far as physically based texturing, it's number one, it's picking up speed like crazy. And it has ports for Unity, for Unreal Engine, and all sorts of engines. What you can do if you're an indie developer or develop games, you don't have to change your pipeline. If you're using substances to create your game assets, all you have to do now is just insert Cinema 4D at any stage and use the same exact asset. And the only thing you have to do is just go increase your resolution. That's it. And you can create your cinematics directly inside Cinema 4D. And you can create your more detailed models and then bring the substances and use them and so forth. So now the next question is, OK, texturing is, it's not bad. Okay, it's not bad. We have to admit that. What else can you do? Well, anywhere in Cinema 4D where we can use a bitmap, we can use a substance. Let's go and check something else out. So number one, one of the things I did here, I had a, let me find, what did I bring in here? I think a little pause here. Let me go and input. I like to sing to, you know. So somewhere here is a bevel. Ha-ha! Simple bevel. There is simple. Oh, it was here. Sorry, it's my semi-blindness. I'm too proud to wear glasses. Okay, everyone? Okay? I'm telling you. So what this does, you take an input, and I think I have a University logo somewhere. Yeah, CV logo. I saw that one. It was on the top. And what this substance does, it creates a kind of a it takes, if you want to see how this looks, this is kind of funny, because what I'm going to show you now is not a black and white image. So if I go here, here, if I go here, and images, and open this, this is just the University logo. It's got a gradient, it's just got a contrast. So what the substance does, it takes that image, it applies desaturation to make it black and white, it applies levels to make it black and white, and then uses that black and white. After it bevels it, it adds a little beveling on the side over there, and uses one output as a height map, the other output as a normal map. And that's from any image you put there. So what can we do with this? Well, let's try something. I'm going to go to my plane here, and I'm going to increase the segments to, let's say, 500 by 500. You can do that without any danger of crashing the system. And then I'm going to use a displacer. Yep, drop it under here. And, you know, displacer, what does displacer use? A displacer uses a texture input. Excellent. Let's go to shading. Now, I'm not going to create a material. You know, I can always go, as I showed you, and say, right-click, create a material. I'm not going to do that. All you have to do is go here and say substance shader. So this is what comes with the plugin. And what you do, you click on this, and you drop in your substance. And here you will see the outputs. I'm going to use the height map. And you have University. So it can be used the same way you can use any standard image inside Cinema 4D. So, the parameters will work pretty fine. So let me go and find out what I can change here. You can change the brightness and contrast of the image. I can change the smoothing, and I can change this. For example, I'm going to make the rounding a bit less. There you go. And you can see everything live. And this is what happened, is that the parameter changed, the asset recomputed, and the output was applied in real time inside Cinema 4D. So that's not bad. Okay. What else can we do? It's always the question. We can use it in MoGraph, in the shader effector. How are we doing about time? Yeah, not bad. I think I'm moving too fast. We can use it for MoGraph. So let's just do that. So I'm going to get rid of the chair. And I'm going to use the same substance, so let me get rid of that. And let's create a cloner with a cube. We're famous for making cubes and clones. So let's make that a grid array, change the height, press T to make it smaller, and let's increase the number to, let's say, 20 by 20. You know, you can do that. You can make 20 by 20 cubes without a problem. Excellent. And a lot of people complain, why is it white? Well, go and make it gray. That's it. There you go. So now let's select, oh, another thing. Change the orientation. The orientation for our UVs now are MoGraph UVs. And if you don't take anything from what I say, take this. Change this to plus Y, so now you don't have to rotate your shader effector. Who knew that? Raise your hands. Only one person. Shame on you, people. You call yourselves Cinema 4D enthusiasts. So, shader effector. The same fashion. Go down here, and let's go and select our substance. You can't drop it unless you open it, monsieur. And yeah, let's use the height map. So, go here. Let's use the height map. And there is. And currently, the shader effector is changing the scaling. I'm going to change the I always get it wrong. The first time I always move it the wrong way. And here is the elevation of the word Cineversity. And what we can do, we can go here and, of course, change any parameter we want. Well, so the distance is too much. That's why we've lost our image. But there you go. You can see how it's propagating. So that is proof that we can use substances exactly the same way we can use textures inside Cinema 4D without any limitation. And did I tell you? It's free. You can go and download it now at a logarithmic website. Now, for you that have access to Cineversity in any way, there's a series of tutorials of how to do certain things. I'm pretty sure I've forgotten to say something, but I'm sure that you will ask questions and I can clarify. And yes, we're working actively with a logarithmic to make the plugin even better. Yes, we can make things better. And yeah, it's very exciting, the whole project from the logarithmic side, because they're working on some extremely interesting technologies. And don't forget that it's a collaboration. So it's something that's going to stay with Cinema 4D. It's not going anywhere. If anything, it's going to be more and more and more integrated. So yeah, I'm absolutely sure. Oh yeah, of course. I forgot one of the most important things. You can control parameters using Espresso. Duh. So let's see that as well. I have my notes in my bag. I'm too embarrassed to take out a little. Oh, embarrassment. Embarrassment is schmarassment, you know. Somewhere in here, there's one of those beautiful. Did you find those little books from FMX? Really nice. I actually came from Toronto. That's where I lived to get this, nothing else. And they told me, why don't you give a speech? So we covered that. We covered that. We covered that. Yep. Oh, haha. Before Espresso, layers. We can actually layer them because they're textures. We can combine them using the layer shader in the same exact way. So let's go and do that because we have quite a few of them lying around. Let me go to whoops. Sorry, I didn't mean to show that. Oops, on Thursday. So Asset Manager, and let's create a new material. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to my luminance so we can see it. Add a layer shader. Click on the layer shader and go and add a substance shader. And in the substance shader here, I can go and say, okay, I'm going to get this simple bevel. I'm going to use the height map because it's nice and crisp. Of course, we need to tell it which height map to go and use because this is the other one. It's not this one. So why don't I use this one? That's a good question, I would say. So minus 0.1. There you go. And I'm going to add one more layer. So shader, substance shader, and we can mix with normal Cinema 4D shaders. That's not a problem. Let's go to the amethyst. And from the amethyst, let's get the diffuse. And we can go here, like normal people. And we can say, okay, I want to multiply it. There you go, you multiply it. Or I can add it, overlay it, screen it, do anything I want. Because exactly like textures, no difference whatsoever, no limitation. Let me give you some examples of substances. And this is part of, because Maxon is actually paying me to do this, I'm going to do some real work for a change, okay? I'm starting to create very simple and utilitarian substances. For example, one of the things we can't do inside Cinema 4D, sorry, is blur an image. We can do it using MIP mapping. It's not exactly that. Well, you can create a substance where you input an image and you just change the blurriness. Done. So you have the control of the blur inside Cinema 4D. You don't have to go in and out. You can create these simple bevels. So you bring any bitmap you want and you bevel it. You create, and you can use that as a height map or a normal map. All sorts of other things. You can have a substance that works based on the geometry, and you can apply it to all the objects of your scene and just change the input. And the way it works is that you can go and you can duplicate the substance any number of times. So you right-click and you say duplicate substances. And you can make more and more iterations, each one with a different input. So essentially, although you're using one origin of the substance inside Cinema 4D, it gets instanced and it's used as a different one. So the outputs are going to propagate the input you're going to insert. Yeah, it's extremely, extremely powerful. And let me go to the espresso thing before I answer any questions, because either it's so simple that no one has a question, or not interesting, so there's no question. But ask some questions anyway. Okay, just do me that favor. Let's go to one of my favorites, which is, I'm going to add a sphere. You cannot have a full Cinema 4D presentation without adding a sphere and a cube. And I've added a cube, so now it's time to add a sphere. And this one here, the electric, this is quite interesting. And this electric, let me find my substance. Plugin, substance, manager. And of course, I can dock it. I'm selecting the electric. And what you will see is that, first of all, if I move the power slider, nothing happens. I can change the hue. I can do all sorts of things. And up here, there's an input called time. And you will see that it doesn't currently move because we don't have animation. I just click on that button. So this is another parameter that was exposed, a Boolean operation. Do we have animation or not? You can expose colors as color chips. So pretty much all the data types, we have color, vectors, for example, position, scale, and rotation, sliders, checkboxes, and all that, that's available, menus. So if I move this now, you can see that it's animating in real time. And I can control this by just going to Espresso, dragging my beautiful substance here, and I'm going to my basic properties time, right-click, Espresso General Time, and just connect it. And done. Let's go home, people. Just works. It's one of those annoying things. It just works. You know, don't tell your clients that it's so easy to do certain things. You have to make them believe that you're really sweating. Okay, and pretty much, I mean, this is it. It's so simple, it's silly. I have to say silly things to make, you know, a half-an-hour presentation. That's how simple it is. And it's extremely powerful. And this is only the beginning. Substances are a new technology. And it's going to grow exponentially. And Maxon is there next to them. And yeah, this is a joint project. And I would like to hear any questions, if any. No questions? Yeah, questions, Simon.
How about external renderers? Are they supported, so like Octane or V-Ray? Can I use it?
Octane, I don't know. I don't have it. Give me a Titan card and I'll do it. Oh, yeah.
Octane works fine.
Oh, so the question, we have to repeat the question. That's what. So the question was, are third-party renderers like Octane and Arnold and all that supported? And well, Cinema 4D has this native support, but for example, Arnold, they need to create the node that reads, because by definition, Arnold doesn't read Cinema 4D shaders. All they have to do is just incorporate it. But the API is there. I think someone that's sitting here is going to take care. So Andreas was saying something?
Yeah, I tried Octane, I tried TEA, and both work. You need to configure the baking correctly. But yeah, then they work fine.
So apparently any renderer that supports native Cinema 4D shaders, either by baking or all sorts of things, are supported. Talking about baking, you can bake the texture. You can go here and you can use bake texture to bake it to a bitmap. So if you go to bake texture here and you say, let's bake 90 frames, it's going to bake the animation of this specific substance. So you can create two-dimensional image sequences using substance through Cinema 4D. Cinema 4D is a very good compositor. Okay, next question. Who was it? Yes, the gentleman.
Is there an evaluation outside the 0-1 space possible to have like a more procedural approach?
When you say out of one space?
Yeah, the normalized UV space. We usually use bitmaps in the 0-1 space.
Oh, you're talking about your UVs.
Yeah.
Oh. So the question was, does it support more than the actual UV tile, 0 to 1? Yeah. If it supports second, third, fourth tile UV. The answer is anything that a texture can do inside Cinema 4D, a substance can do.
Yeah.
So as far as Cinema 4D is concerned, it's a texture. So if a texture cannot do it, then substance cannot do it.
Okay, then so it will be simply repeated.
Yes,
in this
exactly.
case. Okay, yeah.
And you can apply them normally just like any other object. There's nothing different. So if I go here and say I want a flat projection that is not tiled, and I select this and this and this, and scale it down, that's it. There you go. So exactly the same way.
Is there some way to harbor from the procedural approach? We built some procedural substance, and so we want to benefit from the ability to evaluate outside the 0-1 space.
Currently, no.
Okay.
Currently, no.
Okay.
But go on the algorithmic forums and ask for something. This is what you users have to do. You need to go out there, and if you have any ideas, you have to put them in public. You have to ask for these things, because developers and beta testers, they can only think as much as they work. So that's a very interesting idea, because it's procedural, which means it has extra abilities to do things. But currently, only to the point that it's a texture. As far as Cinema 4D is concerned, this is a bitmap. Another question? Another question? Yes.
I saw only 2K in the pop.
Yes, you can go. So you can go up to 4K with a current implementation, 4000 by 4000. This particular one, because it was made, the Amethyst was made using currently. Oh, yeah. So Substance Designer 5 is 8K. 8K by 8K.
Okay.
But internally, it's unlimited. The only problem now is that because it uses OpenGL, and there are still limitations as the way the technology is, I think, applied. I don't know if it's, the way they designed it, because it was only for games. It doesn't make sense to use anything more than 4K, and 8K is pushing it a bit. But I'm sure that Algorithmic is actively looking for ways to extend this to much higher resolutions. So currently, if you define an output of 8K by 8K, 8192 by 8192, this is what you get in Cinema 4D. We support the whole 8K by 8K. Andreas?
Depending on the... actually, you can select the Substance engine to be used inside the plugin.
The SSE.
And,
yep.
yeah, and depending on this engine, you can use up to 2K or up to 8K.
Yep. I think it's, OpenGL has a limit of 2K, whereas SSE, which is more of a software kind of thing, whatever it is, I have no idea. Whatever I tell you, I've just been told, just the messenger. It can go currently 8K by 8K, which is, it's not bad for most motion graphics cases.
Another question, if you want to pass it to a render farm and without the plugin, could you bake out, let's say, animated parameters?
Yeah. So you go here and you say bake texture, and you can export the full animation.
Okay. And another question,
yes.
Can you, from the Substance Assets Manager, right-click edit in Substance, or do you have to open?
No, because these are not editable files. SBSAR are archives which you publish. So let me give you a very quick rundown on how this works. So you've created your whatever substance. You've gone here and you've said, I want this to be exposed, whatever that is. It's called intensity. And I'm going to change this into an input. So spacebar, color input image. Let's connect it up. Click here, do this. So there it is. So it's just going to create that kind of grunge map for us. And I think this is our unsaved new graph here. Yes, it is. You have to right-click and save this somewhere. I like to save things on my desktop. New folder 1111. It's always unique names. 1111. Yeah. So SBS files are the files you can open. If you want to publish this, you have to go here, right-click, and say publish. And you type a unique name like 1112. It's very important to have good naming. So it says something here, the following graph doesn't have any output. Duh. Yeah, no one's paying attention here. My God. So I didn't put an output. You know, even silly people like me can use this bloody thing. Yeah? This is sad, isn't it? So this is my output. Hurrah. So go here, let's save it one more time. And right-click and publish. and 11123. Telling you, unique names. And output size. So output size doesn't exist now because I've got an absolute size. So you need to select this, and instead of absolute up here, you need to go and say relative to parent. And let's, let's push it. I think, can I change the engine here? No. I think I can change the engine somewhere here. Switch engine. I'm not going to do it now because this has an Iris graphics card, Intel, whatever. And yeah, Intel hasn't endorsed me in any meaningful way, so I don't care. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to stick to my paradigm. There you go. So it's going to output the size. That is the menu, and all the other stuff. I pressed OK. And what this created is a substance archive. So let's go to desktop and 111. See, it's easy to find it. And here it is. So this is my substance file, SBS. And here's my SBSAR, which is the archive. So SBS archive. You cannot edit the SBSAR. Okay? We can open it. We can use it inside Substance Designer. But we can't edit it. So it's a kind of a locked thing. So that's why the concept of editing from here doesn't make any sense. I don't know if there's any plan for Allegorithmic to do anything like that, but I don't think so, which in my view is good, although it takes a few more clicks to open it, providing you use unique names and you know what everything is. But having a compiled version is what allows you to run the whole thing without the use of the software itself. And it's self-contained, and it works just by downloading a free plugin. Go download it now. Allegorithmic.com. Does that answer your question, Holger?
Yes. Thank you.
Any other questions? Interesting. Who found it interesting, the whole substance thing? Anyone who found it interesting? I know that you're doing it because you're being polite, especially the ones that didn't raise your hands immediately. And yeah, we have about 8 minutes to go. I'm not going to say anything because you seem to have absorbed all the information. It's very exciting. Since it's free, go download it now. Go check it out. And yeah, there are numerous tutorials on Substance. Go to the, I think they have a YouTube channel, and they have tutorials, everything from version 4.6, the previous one, version 5, how to do amazing stuff. And yeah, have fun using Substance Designer. Thank you for coming, and on Thursday, if you're interested to see the Houdini engine integration into a bit depth, I know my groupies are going to be here, especially Maxon, Cinema4D product manager and marketing manager, always following me around for some odd reason. But the rest of you, if you're interested to see a bit of Houdini magic in Cinema4D, you're all welcome to come. And yeah, thanks for coming, and you're being a great audience. Thank you very much.